So, two short questions. Okay, this leads to my third question, which is that I'm not coming from a side that rape is correct, or it is always the man that is raping. So I mean, it's both cases. A woman can rape a man as much as the other side. So I have to make sure that I come from there. I'm playing devil's advocate to throw light on the other side. Firstly, because I think legally we recognize that a lack of sexual relation can be a ground for divorce, correct? It is a form of evidence to lead to divorce. So, on the flip side, then it can be said that marriage, in the institution of marriage, then sexual consent is presumed. Okay, that's the first point. Likewise, not to trivialize the institution of marriage, okay? Within a joint account, I cannot rob my wife of her money. Because it is a joint account, I can remove it as and when I like. So likewise, it does not constitute theft. Okay? Unless one of the account holders decide to stop this joint account and to break it apart. So similarly to marriage, right? If marriage is an institution which is recognized by law, okay? I mean, there are many legal implications. For example, I mean that in testate wills, as well, there's a presumption of trust, presumption of advancement in marriages. So it is it's an institution which is recognized legally. So there is a difference between being in a marriage and being out of a marriage, between cohabitation and a marriage. Okay, there are clear differences. So I'm coming from a very legal point. So my point is that sex is a choice between a couple, between this marriage institution. Okay? It is a private realm. I agree that it is an honorable, as you say, it's a betrayal of trust and all that. But if this betrayal of trust, we are going to criminalize it based on this argument that it's the greatest violation of trust. Then, I mean, this opens the door to why not? Isn't adultery as well considered betrayal of trust? Should it not be criminalized as well? Hey, but that's another argument. I understand I'm going on and on. My point is that there is a legal. Marriage is a recognized institution by law. So, while there are benefits to the marriage institution, likewise, marital rape as a immunity is recognized legally as well. So it's simply the flip side of the marriage institution. So if you want to criminalize it, then it should be out. You should be out now. As the law is, you have to file for a divorce or you have to file for a PO. Then clearly you are out of the institution, and therefore you are criminalizing it. If you are in, it is not criminalized. If you are out, are.
I'm going to pass this on.
I think if I may summarize that, what you're saying is that you're really coming at it from a position of protecting marriage as an institution.
Exactly my point. Well, my last line says, as to your point as to what it signals that marriage is a treasured institution.
So why don't I give you another perspective on this? What is marriage? Right? What are you trying to preserve? Are you preserve marriage as an institution at all costs, in all of its forms, abusive and positive? Or do you have a conception of marriage as being loving, positive, affirming? Right? I want to preserve marriages, not at all costs, but good marriages. I believe that people stuck in bad marriages should be allowed to walk out from it. Right? So I believe that people should have the right to be divorced. Right. And in this case, on rape, I think the analogy of adultery, for example, is flawed. Because adultery, a man committing adultery does not harm his wife physically. Right? So there's all kinds of mental trauma, etc. granted. A man who rapes his wife, in addition to emotional trauma, also commits physical battery on her. It goes beyond that. I think I think it is really apples and oranges. But putting that aside, I want to come back to my starting point, which is that I come from a place where I will respect everyone's human rights. And I think a very fundamental right, which I hope I have, is to be able to choose whom I want to have sex with, when I want to have sex with that person, whether or not it's within marriage or outside of marriage. So marriage should not detract or derogate from my basic human right. And that is why I'm against marital rape.
respond, I think that's an excellent response to you. I just want to say, because I come from more like an activist background, and we need a lot of lawyers to work with us, and you're a budding lawyer, that I do think it's very important to contextualize legal structures in the social, cultural context of a discussion. Otherwise, the law, if we just look at it from a technical perspective, it functions in isolation, then we cause more damage to the people at the bottom. So I hope as you are budding and you would be cognizant of that point. Thank you.